I think we need to spend a little bit of time talking about Hayward and Brown. Obviously Hayward missed a night, limited minutes the rest of the week, definitely not 100%. Horford still struggling with the knee, whatever diagnosis it is. It seems like it could be lingering. Hopefully he'll be back, but they're going to have to obviously just save him for the postseason. That's where we want him. And the team is deep enough, I think, to survive. Although at that position, they do miss him greatly. But then we look at somebody like Jaylen Brown, who's kind of come back into it. And I think I want to start there, even though we've talked about, we have injuries to talk about that are still kind of ongoing. That's a guy that missed some time due to injury, lost his place in the starting lineup, moved to the second unit, has been pretty aggressive since then, isn't just setting up on the wing, in the corner for the three anymore, doing a lot more attacking and driving and slashing, although he got out on the break against Detroit and completely fumbled. I think he was almost going too fast. Like, he doesn't realize that his athleticism isn't limited to speed. And I wanted to get your take on Jaylen. How are you feeling about him? And then we'll move to the rest of the still remaining or lingering injured Celtics.
Well, he is definitely returned. I don't want to say the playoff form, but he's returned. I'm going to put last night aside maybe a little bit because certainly returned and since being out, I think that's a let's put the last week, I guess, aside and give him some time to kind of come back. But I think that the return from injury, from after the back injury, he showed a really nice willingness to attack the rim, become a guy who could get to the free throw line. And I think that Jared Weiss did a really nice piece on the Athletic, detailing some of that and why it's working, what he's doing well, but also where he still has areas of growth, and certainly playmaking remains number one, probably among those. But I think for the Celtics is that fifth guy, that fifth option. I think all they really need him to do is drive closeouts and hit open threes. They don't need him in a playmaking role. If he's a secondary playmaker, or maybe even third in the pecking order, if he's in those bench units with Hayward and Rozier, I think that's a fine place for him. Allow him a little bit of opportunity to make some plays, but really as a secondary player to that. And that's unfortunate on this team. He's not going to be out there creating and becoming the next Tracy McGrady, a guy who he worked out this past summer. But that's what the team needs him to do. And I think ultimately he'll be better for it. But it's a tough spot for the guy. And I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was. And we had Bill Simmons out here ready to send him away for a pick or something. I mean, people were getting way over the line on Jaylen Brown and thinking somehow he had lost his mojo. He hasn't. It's just everything was going wrong with the Celtics to start the season, and he was just among the last to kind of refine his form.
Right. It was almost like it was getting laid at his feet, right?
Yes. Yeah, he was to blame. Kyrie figured it out. Maybe you could say Tatum figured it out, and then around that time when Hayward was moving to the bench, it was like, oh, it's Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's fault. This guy sucks.
Jaylen Brown was the one who was responsible for Hayward's not being like a stellar all-star right out of the gate.